You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, just like you in a game, I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and throw a flag on the play.
You're watching Indie Comic Outliers with Alazmat. You're watching Alazmat, the Shadow Band.
German sips with a grin so wide. Pogs on the table can't hide his pride. Creator in the corner starts to glare. Madness sparks and hate fills the air. Stack 'em high, a tower of luck. Germans winning, it feels like pluck. Alazmat's fury, a brewing storm. Visions of pogs in every form. Pogs are spinning, tables turning. Alazmat's eyes with fierce fire burning. Germans' laughter echoes loud in a world that's pog-bound proud. Alazmat sees and he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. Alazmat sees and he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Alazmat fumes can't take no more. Pogs and slammers hit the floor. It's not about the game you see, it's about what fun could be. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann.
You're watching Indie Comic Outliers with Alazmat, the Shadow Band.
and aggressively knows his stuff. He's here to share the truth without a bluff. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Panther, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Bengay. Alice Mack, duck of the indies, Malin's favorite ethap. He knowledge of comics far off the old rap. He swims out of the lanes to find hidden bayous, strange creators, and obscure adulum new. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Panther, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Bengay. So hang with the clockers deep in the comic graves. See Alice Matt's treasures, the sort that he craves. Do you know about these guys and do you care? A Duck Lord is willing and he's got plenty to share. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Panther, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Bengay. Alice Matt should be quite congratulated. Do not mallard shun. He's busy peeking into the facts. Don't wig in him while he's hunting for snacks. For snacks. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Panther, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Bengay. Alice Matt should be quite congratulated. Do not mallard shun. He's busy peeking into the facts. Don't wig in him while he's hunting for snacks. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Panther, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Bengay.
You pull me in like slow waves under my skin. Breath caught, I let you in. Every doubt gets quiet. Hands on the wheel, now you're on. I tell you what I feel, half truths that never heal. Still I drive beside it. You're the title in my chest, rising. You say my name softly, like you're half to blame. Eyes bright, they never stay.
Good evening. Mazel tov. Yes, I know the camera is not working. All I gotta do is hit a button. I just gotta hit one button. There's one button, and then I get it to work. And there we go. There we go. See, I'm getting this OSB down pat. And actually, I don't know if you guys heard from the last stream, but I figured out. I have figured out how to make the top chat in the screen now a live chat because I figured out how to use the interact button. And boom, now we're at live chat. So now we have the live chat active on stream. So, and because I can interact, I can also, can I do the thing too? Yeah, I can think I could do this. I can actually scroll up and it'll show up as scrolling up on stream. Look at that. So that means if I read a super chat, I can just scroll up and show the super chat. Now, it won't be as polished as it was if I would have highlighted chat. I haven't gotten to that far yet. I will though. Once I get the Social Stream Ninja working in my favor, I will have that, and I can highlight chats again. But till then, I still got the whole chat up, so everybody basically is getting their whole chat highlighted. Baby steps, baby steps. I promise, baby steps. But hail to the chat. How's everybody tonight on this lovely Thursday night? Well, on my end it's rainy, and I just heard a police siren, so somebody's probably getting arrested or getting shot, either or. Well, who knows? But it's rainy and pouring. But if it's rainy and pouring where you're at, grab a coffee, and just chill and spend a couple hours with me as we're just gonna talk about one of the biggest names in the underground comics movement, as we do normally here on the Indie Comic Outlier stream, where we talk about comic artists who defy the mainstream by just doing their kind of art and not giving a fuck about what people say about their art. That is the spirit of indie comics. And speaking of which, we got a $5 super chat from my good friend Colin Lamping. How you doing, Colin? Good to see you here tonight. He says, the Swans demand you apologize live on the stream, and if you take it back, you will be bombarded with mean fan art. Apologize to them now. Well, that's mean. That's awful, Colin. That feels like a threat. But you did pay me, so that's not really a threat now, is it? It's more like a bribe. See, this is a bribe. So if you didn't pay me, that'd be a threat. But you paid me, so therefore it's a bribe. So I gotta label it as properly as such. So with that, I guess should I apologize? Because you pay me to read it, but you didn't really pay me to do it. See, that's the thing. You pay me to say it, but I didn't get paid to actually do it. So the chat. Let's chat the question. Does this count as me being paid to actually do the thing, or I'm just paying paid to say it? What does the chat think? I want to hear what the chat says. Because apparently I want to make sure that I get that down pat. And when you guys get a chance, Colin has put down a link to Global Comics to his Emerald Man comics. You can read them for free. So go to Global Comics. The link is down there. Check it out. Read some cool comics by Colin Lambert, the creator of Emerald Man and the university's building. Let me say hi to the people in the chat. We have Osgreat Sage. How's it going, Osgreat Sage? I see you there. I see you there, Tumonomicus. What's going on? What's good? I see you there. I don't see color form. And as you can see, I have a blue shirt. It's blue color form. So you can bully and pink these nuts. My producer, the inactive LC the Java Slayer. How's it going? What's going on, LC? Nice to see you here. How's it going? Good as always, I assume. Let's see here. Who am I missing? We have Kobe Mack is in the chat. What's going on, Kobe Mack? Good to see you. Manticore says he's late and gay. Well, whatever you are, I'm not switching your pronouns. Your pronouns stay the same. We have a no changing of the pronouns policy here. So that's not, you gotta go and take that up with your therapist. James Hurley's in the chat. He says, "Hail the D word boy." How's it going, James Hurley? Good seeing you here. Shout out to you. Blasian One says, "I'm here to check out the camera quality." Well, there you go. There you go. There's the camera quality. Um, and from what I'm seeing, at least at least I can see the motion. It's fluid. Motion's fluid. Now it's not too sharp, but it's okay. Baby steps. Baby steps. Cullen says I'm not bully. Well, maybe I am. Apparently, I am Dick Masterson's bully. That has been a thing now. So I'm officially Dick Masterson's bully. Dick Masterson's bully. Juju the Cow's bully. That is me now. So there we go. Einbrecht, or is that called Einhold? He says, "Is it time to harass the D word person?" Oh, no, that says Deeper. Deeper. I don't know what that means. Well, I know what it means, but I don't know if I said it right. But he says it's time to harass us. So, well, me actually. Great Gold Worm says, "Hail, what's going on, Great Gold Worm? Good seeing you here. Good seeing everybody in the chat." Lady Shadow Band says, "Hi, how's it doing, my love? Good seeing you in the chat." Shout out to Lady Shadow Band here. So that's awesome. We have okay. Oh wait, Is that not? Oh wait, I think I read that already. Okay, yeah, I read the super chat. Well, this is the second one. Hold on. So I'm scrolling up on my live chat on the OBS function side, not so much the live chat on the stream itself. So I'm trying to read everybody who's here, so I don't forget everybody. We have Gifford, one of the members of the band zone, and peers with Colorform. He says, "Who do you think you are, Raptor? I am me. Okay, I am me, Gifford. I am me. I know it offends you and it troubles you and it threatens you. My existence does, but I'm here to stay. I'm here to bring diversity to your vanilla world. So tough, tough, Gifford, tough. That's the way it is. Sci-fi is life is gaming says, did you get a better camera? Why would I do that? I'm on a budget. Like, what do people think I am rich? I'm a poor. Yeah, have you learned nothing about me in Pock History Month last month? I'm a poor. Don't be racist. There's no racism allowed on the stream. None. Oz Great Sage for $5 Australian. Thank you for the super chat, Oz Great Sage. I see it in this. Actually, let me go ahead and click on the pop-up chat and keep it on the super chat so that we don't miss it. Okay, there we go. Oz Great Sage for $5 Australia. He says, Elijah is right. Nobody cares if you draw werewolves that look like raccoons or baboons. Crack that. Okay, hold on. We're gonna sell this once and for all, okay? Because you people have no eye for art. None. Okay? We're gonna sell this once and for all. This from the American Werewolf in London, this is a werewolf. This is not a raccoon. This is a werewolf. I drew a werewolf. This is a mother flipping werewolf. Look at it. It's a werewolf. It's got fangs. It's got hair like a wolf. It's a werewolf. And let me show you the one from The Howling. This right here is a werewolf from The Howling. It's totally not a baboon. It's not a baboon. It's not an ape. It's a werewolf. It's got hair like a wolf. Shame on you people. We're here to celebrate the arts, have fun and chill, and you got to go home with the sticks and the fires and whatever you guys want to call it, the spears. The spears. That's what it is. The trick of the spears. But thank you for the $5 Australian, Oscar. I appreciate it. That's awesome of you. You're a good man. Blasian one for $5. Thank you, Blasian one for $5. He says, might as well get that blackmail payment out of the way. Oh, he said the thing out loud. I'm not supposed to say that thing out. I can't do that. I did not. Guys, I told you not. I didn't authorize that at all. So that's totally fake news on anyone's end. If anybody asks, I didn't do it. I denied all. I denied everything. All of it. It's all denied. All denied. So let's see. We got let me see. Hold on, I'm just checking my okay, I'm gonna get out of my Discord for now so that the noise, the bloop bloop that keeps happening doesn't happen on stream because I ain't trying to get people to get in on my Discord activity because I'm that way as a person. I just am. And my throat hurts because you people just don't know art, do you? I have Blasey one saying best raccoon ever. It's a werewolf. It's clearly a werewolf. You've never seen American Werewolf in London? That's exactly how it looks like. A big wolf with humongous eyes and lots of fur. That's how I drew. A big wolf with eyes and fur. And the fangs and the claws. A baboon? No, it's the werewolf from The Howling. Okay? It's got a certain distinct look to it, but it's clearly a werewolf from The Howling. I'll give us putting raccoons in the chat. Like, are you people really that short-minded? Really? No, sci-fi is like that is not a raccoon. That is clearly a werewolf. Okay, you people on Blood Sports, you want see, you made my camera freeze. My camera's protesting your ignorance and your racism. All of it. All of it. It's all your racism. There, back to the camera. Okay, good. I think. My USB is acting up. Okay. Okay, I see what you're doing. Let's do this again. Okay. It's doing the thing where it is not cooperating. I guess I'll have to unplug it and replug it. So yes, I'm gonna have to go do that because I cannot operate. Wait, did it do that thing? Hmm. Okay. Now, oh, damn it. Now my other camera's not working. See, this is what you guys have done because you denied the werewolf, right? You denied the werewolf, and because of that, now Now it's protesting. It's absolutely protesting. That's not cool at all. This is not how we as a community operate. We don't do that in this community. That's not how we do it. Like, why can't you just accept what I am, who I be, you people? Accept it. Is it possible to accept it? I guess not. I guess not. Yes. Okay. This is a new twist on the camera failure. Yes, I perfected the camera failure. I'm an artiste. Have you not figured that out yet? Like, have you not figured that out? Blasey and one. I do things with innovation. I'm very innovative. No, I'm not gone, William F. I'm not gone. Okay, this is the twist. This is a new twist. This is my BLM camera. That's what this is. Yeah, this is my BLM camera. That's what it is. So yes, my BLM camera. Okay, yes. So actually, let me do this. I'm gonna play a quick intro. See if that does anything. Here we go.
You're watching Indie Comic Outliers
Bailaremos bajo la
with
luna
Alasmat the
en la
Shadow
noche
Band.
sin fin.
Okay, we are back, and we are back in black. So now if this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna go ahead and just continue to use the. I'm gonna go ahead and just continue with like uh the drawings that we're gonna spotlight today with Kim Deitch. Yes, we're gonna be going with another artist from the underground comics movement, Kim Deitch. Because why not? Why not? Let's see. And of course, says WTF. Sci-Fi Sci-Fi Gaming says back in black. Yes, back in black. He says. Ah, there we go. Okay. Oh wait, did that work? Did that work? Let's see. No, it did not. It's got my stupid looking thing on there. Yeah, it did not work. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go ahead and put an image. Right. Let me put an image of something or other, and then that way, at the very least, it occupies the space. And then instead of seeing black, at least you'll see something or other, because why not? And then I will go ahead and go back and see what's going on, because I think I have to restart the OBS, which I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna restart the OBS. I know you people want that, but I'm not gonna do that. I know you think that that's gonna be cool and witty, but it's not. I don't trust you. I trust none of y'all. Let me take a page from B Citizen Road Warrior Drake. Let me do that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna take a page from B Citizen Road Warrior Drake. And there we go. There we go. So at the very least, you have an image there. I know it's not me. And other people want to mock me and to be insulting to me, but I'm sorry, it's just not gonna work. Not today. Not ever. So yeah. How old is that Calvin Klein knockoff shirt ski? It's new. It's new. It's not knockoff, okay? It clearly says Calvin Klein. Colin says, I'm glad the Swans are hard at work screwing up your stream lives, man. You know, I know you are, and I'm glad you think so, but I'm sorry. It's not gonna go your way tonight because I'm a winner. We got Bats in the chat. He says, yo, what's up, Bats? Good seeing you there. William F says, this stream could be better if the audio could also. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you feel witty. William F. I'm sure that makes you feel so witty. I really do think that. I think that you came up with that thing on your own, and I'm sure that you feel a certain way. I'm sure that it gives you all kinds of power and immunity, but no, it doesn't. It's a good try though. It really is. Like I'm very impressed, William F, by how committed you are to this bit, but it's not gonna work. I'm sorry, it's not. It just is not, okay? You may think so, but it's not, okay? And look who's back. Oh, look who's back. Look's got the camera back working. Aha! Aha! See, look who's back. I figured it out, right? I figured it out. I fixed it. Okay, because I'm not giving you racists in this chat the victory. Not today. Not ever. Not ever, Nugan. So there we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this back behind the template, the wonderful little template that I made for myself, because I can do that. I'm allowed to do that. And there we go. Okay. So now all is right in the world again. So now you people in the chat, you spear chuckers, are not getting the victory tonight. I have the victory. I have the winner. I have the champion. I have the light and glowing on my side. Okay? So the tears in the chat are my victory. That's my drink of drunkenness. That's my strong drink. Your tears are my strong drink. I love every single ounce of it. Every single ounce is mine. Oz Great says, how do we know Elasma is even drew this? It doesn't look like a raccoon. It doesn't look like a raccoon, a baboon, or Robert Romano. It's clearly a werewolf, Oz Great Sage. It's totally a werewolf. Oh, we got my girl Georgina Floyd in the chat. She goes, she. When I read Georgina Floyd's chats, I feel the jazz and the love. Unlike the rest of you people in the chat. All violence and hatred and what have you. Let's see. This potato found his pillow, says William F. Why, William F? We're the same team. There's no reason for violence at all. James Price, Eliza, what do you like better, peanuts or Popeye? Good question. They're both great. I mean, I can't really choose either because they're both great. Like they both have their own flavor, so I can't really say one is better than the other. They're just both great. So, you people, what a bigot does Manicore? No, Manicore. I am all for diversity. I'm very tolerant, but not you people. So I you people, I'm talking about you enemies of tolerance and love and unity. That's the opposite of bigotry. The total opposite. Great girl Worm says he loves Popeye. Well, I love Popeye too. I mean, I like all the peanuts and Popeye. So you can't go wrong with either one. But I think after today, like when we talk about our artist for today, Kim Deitch, you might like Kim Deitch's stuff. I looked at his stuff when I was going over the material, and I'm like, man, this guy's stuff, like Kim Deitch's work, um, starts out being very simplistic, and then like over the course of his later years, he carries that simplicity and makes it in his own complex style. And all I can say to myself is, this kind of artist would totally not be welcome in this comic space. Not at all. He's the reason I do these indie comic outliers, because there's a there is a misconception about what indie comics is supposed to be in terms of art, and it's like people forget that indie comics is the alternative to the mainstream, which means all kinds of art style and all kinds of stories are welcome in this in that space. But apparently that's not a it's not a welcome thing. A welcome thing, right? So actually, I could probably show the bigger size. So this is a page from one of his comics. This is from his Waldo comics. Waldo is Kim Deitch's signature character. If you're gonna be a famous artist, you have to have at least one signature character. I believe so, and that's the character that you ride or die with. So yeah, that's cool. You got the image on one side and the chat on the other, so the chat doesn't get blocked at all. Colin says, Alaska will never get another super chat from me again until he does what I ask. Okay, fine. All right, Colin, fine. Okay, you want me to apologize to the Swans? Fine. Swans of Colin. Swans of Colin. I apologize to you for what I don't know, but I apologize. So there you go. So if you're the Swan of Colin, if you're one of the many Swans of Colin, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. There, I did the thing. So William F. says, Eliza, you're not welcome in this comic space. You know what's funny, William F? I'm actually glad. This is gonna sound funny, William F, but I'm actually glad I'm not welcome in this particular comic space because have you seen these people? How deranged they are? I'm like, I don't think they understand that being indie means being indie. It means just I'm gonna do my thing, cultivate my fan base, and I'm gonna have fun with it. And if you don't like it, that's fine. But if you're gonna be that weird about it and just like trash it and just be like, this is not what indie comics is, well then you're ignorant of what indie comics was in history. No, colors. I didn't apologize to you, color form. Stop hijacking Colin's apology. That was meant for Colin Swan, not you. Color form. Here's another from the Waldo comics. This is probably from his later years. This is from Kim's later years because he was doing comics well into the 2000s. So, and his art style. Wait, did I even show it? Hold on, is it even showing? Oh, so I got to do the thing where Damn it! I gotta do the thing where I have to. I gotta So I have to go ahead and do that thing over again. Oh, I know why. I know because I have to open up the other space. That's why. Okay, I get it. Hold on. I get it. So yes. So I gotta do it as a browser. So that way I can do the thing where I can just show the art successively by pointing the arrow button. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Browser source. I did browser source. How about display capture? What the heck was it? Was it media scene or hold on? I can figure this out. I can figure this out. Don't worry. Don't worry. In the meantime, Tomody's in the chat. I see what you're doing there, Tomody. So don't think I don't see you. I see you 100%. I totally see you, Tomody. I totally see you. So it ain't gonna go well for you. It never does. It never does. Not for you. Totally not for you. Not for you. So yeah. So um. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Is it? Oh, it's window cap. Okay, that's the button. Yes. Okay. That is the button. So okay. There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay. There we go. See, I told you I would figure it out. There we go. There it is. Okay. And I'll put it right here so that way I can put the chat on the side. So I see you guys in the chat. I can see what you guys are writing. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean I don't see what you're writing. I 100% see what you people are writing. So I'm gonna put it right here because why not? Oh, I can't do that because then I blocked it. Oh, yeah, you know what I gotta do? No, I'll leave it this. I'm gonna just put it above it, and then if you guys don't see the chat, you don't see the chat. There we go. So this is from his Waldo comic. Waldo is a character that looks like a lot like Felix the Cat. You'll see it. I'm gonna be showing you pages from it. You're gonna see it. William F says a lot about you're the best of the worst, and I love you for that and everything you do despite your shortcomings. I'm not short. I'm not short. I'm not a CG church person. I am tall. I am. I'll get the ruler and I'll show you. I'll prove it to you. I'm very tall. I'll make you guys very intimidated by my size. But yeah, this is from his Waldo comic. This is another page from it, and you can get an idea of the simplicity of the style. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the crudeness of the style. But this is what got him the big bucks. This is what got him his foot in the door. This is what got him the the spot in the underground comics movement. But wait, let me just go to another page, right? And then yeah, this is a good one too. I like the inking, like the way he plays with the ink and the cross hatching. Like he'll do a lot of solid ink, but then he'll go right into the cross hatching for the grays, and it's a beautiful contrast. I like this style of contrast with the ink. This is what I hope to do when I do my black and whites. This is this is also from actually I think this is from Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I think. Yeah, I think this. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, in a bit. Here's another one of his art pieces. Okay, so there's Waldo. This is Waldo the character, and I said before it looks like Felix the cat. And this is deliberate because Waldo is meant to be like um, a what do you call it? It's meant to be like a commentary on the animation industry, and we'll get into that in a second. So Kim Deitch is the son of Gene Deitch. Now, if you don't know who Gene Deitch is, how many people in the chat are Tom and Jerry fans? Any Tom and Jerry fans in the chat? If you're a Tom and Jerry fan, then you're pretty familiar with the 1960s Tom and Jerry cartoon shorts, which were known as the Gene Deitch Tom and Jerry cartoons, which were notorious for being a bit too mean spirited. And I remember watching those cartoons as a kid, and I remember not liking them at all. I liked the Tom and Jerry stuff, but when it came to the '60s Gene Deitch cartoons, I didn't like them. They were very mean spirited, and I didn't. I'm not the only one that has that um that has that view of those cartoons. They were pretty mean spirited. But I see Massive Panda in the chat. Shout out to Massive Panda. He says it looks like Deitch uses one single line way throughout, and I don't mean that as a pejorative. I believe Toriyama did a similar thing. I never understood how artists make that work, but it does. Oh yeah, no, it's a skill. It is a skill. It's actually that single line thing. I mess with it when I do some like the digital stuff. It has a certain polish to it that makes the stuff stick. Makes the image stick out. It's very. I noticed that it seems at many more times to be more superior than if you use like a thicker line stroke, or like if you do like variations in the thickness of the lines when you draw some. Uh, Sometimes a single line in and of itself, depending on the subject, is very superior, and I see that with my stuff. Maniquez, I draw better than. Oh, what's actually I take that as a compliment. So Maniquez, I draw better than Kim Deitch. That's awesome. You know what? I'll take it. You know what? Maniquez, hold on. I gotta. Shit. Can I even highlight that? I can't highlight it. Hold on. Let me just go ahead and. Oh no, I'm not gonna mess with it. But you guys saw in the chat. He says that I draw better than Kim Deitch. I will take that as a supreme compliment. I'll say, you know what? Ha, I'll take it because I like Kim's stuff. I like Kim's stuff. His stuff is pretty solid. But if someone says that my stuff is better, I'm like, I'll take it. I will 100% take it. I'm down with that. So for once, someone in the chat has elevated me. Someone in the chat has actually uplifted my spirit, has inspired me, has filled me up with love and heart, and the water from the rain that's coming down in my window. It's just a beautiful moment. We're coming together, guys. We're actually uniting as a unitah. This is a real unitah now. You're witnessing it. This is the building of it right now. This is pure unitah communitah right here. Baz 1500 says, "Who did it? Who did the later Tom and Jerry? They were weird. That was Gene Deitch. That was him. The 1960s ones with where they didn't really speak but had that weird animation style and those weird sound effects. That was Gene Deitch, who's the father of the guy we're doing now, Kim Deitch, the artist. So, which I absolutely those cartoons I actually did not like, and most Tom and Jerry fans don't like them either. So I'm about the only one that shares that sentiment. Manacor, I regret that now. Well, you regret saying that the truth? You regret saying the truth, Manacor? Don't ever regret saying the truth. You know it's the truth, and you've united us. We're now a unita again. You've done it, Manacor. You've done it. You're the John the Baptist to me. So I appreciate that. That's awesome, and I feel uplifted, and I feel like I'm strong again. Like I feel like I can go into the world and just build stuff. I can feel like unifying people and just creating a new force for good. Thank you, man. Corey. That was. I want to invite you to the fans festival this October, so you should come to that. Anyway, William F says, "Alas, Matt." No, he's I last Matt. Words of heart. William F says, "Alas, Matt draws this comic while taking a crap, which would explain his heavy outlines." They're not heavy. I don't think they're heavy. Well, if that's my style, that's my style. That's what can I tell you? This is what I do. Anyway, um, Colin says, "I think it's become a matter of taste." Oh, taste is all over. Absolutely, it definitely is a matter of taste. But I think the issue that I have, and you know this, Colin, the issue that I have is when some people take a certain position of authority and are making the criteria of what is considered a good comic book, and they go back to the most dumbest takes or the most dumbest criteria, which is first it has to look good. It's like, well, first of all, if it looks good, that's the market who determines that. The people determine that, not the creators, not the artists. So, because if they did, we wouldn't have an underground comics movement or an alternative comics movement. The people, the market decide that. So, you know, taste is taste, but if specific taste becomes a criteria, well, you're looking at a very small, shrinking hug box, and we're seeing it happening in this space right now. So, don't be that. You know, celebrate all various forms of art in comics, because if not, we're gonna miss out on the next best story. Monkey King of Zealandia says, "Hey, yo, what the what? What the what, Monkey King? How you doing? Shout out to you, Monkey King of Zealandia. Give the man a follow. He's been doing the streaming thing as of late. He needs to uh, build his channel. So give him a follow and give him feedback. If you watch Monkey King streams, give him feedback. That's the only way we grow is with feedback. So please give him feedback and help him uh, up his game so that he's on top of his. Not that he's not on top, but we are never on top. You know, from day one to day two. We're always on top from day three to day two. So I'm trying to think. Wow, there we go. Yeah. Colin says, "Man, I wish I had a drawing desk at my toilet so I didn't lose focus whenever I need to take a dump." Moving on. Um, Tim Olsen says it really should be the readers that matter. Yeah, the market, Tim. You could say the readers, the market. Yeah, it's the same thing. Their opinion is what matters, not some creator who decides to be the hope of indie comics. So yeah, I deal with that. So yeah, hit the like button. Says great gold one. Yes, hit the like button. If you like what I'm doing, if you like the stream, if you like the content, and if you're not racist, hit the like button. Holler, the Unitah reigns today. So, and let's get back to some more Kim stuff. So I was reading the chats by some of y'all. Um, oh wait, I think I might miss a. Baz says, "How many Jim Lee Tom McFarlanes can I look at?" Well, Tom McFarlane's my good friend, so you can never get tired of Tom McFarlane. But no, you need variety in comic art, and there's a lot of it in the underground and in the independent. It's not just '90s image ripoffs. It's people just picking up a pen and just doodling whatever, and taking a chance on a very fun story that doesn't require the minutest of details in the panel. You could just enjoy scribble and the artwork serves as a story and it's fun. Monkey King says the market dictates. Words are hard. The market dictates what's good and what's worthless. 100%. 100%. And that is something that Roy Williams, when he was the editor in chief of Marvel, he said that. He said that good art is what is told to you by the people later on. It's what people have told you made. You can make something and say you like it and it's good art, but that's not what determines the value of the art. It's the people that value your work that tell you that what you made was art. This is a page from Sunshine Girl. Sunshine Girl was one of Deitch's graphic novels. There we go. You want to see my early face? There you go. It's one of his graphic novels from 1967. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, it's not. This is one of his early comic strips from '67. This is when he was not donating, when he was contributing to Gothic Blimp Works. Gothic Blimp Works. I think I talked about this in an other stream, but this was founded by Vaughn Bodie. He was one of the first. He was the founder of this magazine, which was like a you know, one of the first magazines for underground comic strips. And Sunshine Girl was Kim Deitch's contribution, and Kim Deitch later on would become one of the later co-editors of it when Bodie relinquished his ownership of Gothic Blimp Works. But yeah, one of those comics was Sunshine Girl. Let me just zoom in a bit. And without even going into like the story or whatever, you could tell like uh, as per the standard of the underground comics movement, yes, it was pretty edgy. Take that as you will. Manicore asks, "Is that Prime?" I think so. It looks like him, therefore it is. Yes, 100%. Colin says, "Nah. Sometimes the market has bad taste and has been used to excuse bad storylines." That okay? So Colin, let me address that because I see your point. I see your point, and I think you're referring to like trends. Like trends sometimes can be mistaken for legacy. So I get that. And to be specific, like with Image comics, like Image was a trend. You know, there was a boom. It got new readers. It got people excited. But in the long run, it really was just a flash in the pans. So, and Collins readers do matter. I agree. Yeah. And I think we got to cultivate as comic producers, cultivate more readers and not so much people that just want to see pretty pictures. Like, look at the pretty design and then get all very prudish about style or anatomy, all that stuff. And I'm not saying you shouldn't like do good work or focus on things like anatomy, but if you have your own style and it doesn't conform to someone else's, well, that person can take a seat. Let the market decide. Goods last, trends ends, as Monkey King Zealandia. Oh, we have Helm in the chat. Mood of Hell. Let me just. Okay, we have Mood of Hell. He says, Outlaw DX. That's his handle. He's right there in the chat. He says, I can't be on stream today because I have a head douche. Head douche. What's a head? Are you bleeding from the ear or something? Is that what head douche is? Anyway, but I'm here to ensure Gatekeep Prime says helmet. Yes, always Gatekeep Prime. Yes. Um. Yes. That okay. So let's go back to the. Oh wait. Oh, William F has good timing. I just saw a super chat. There you go. $5 from William F. Thank you for the $5, William F. I appreciate that. He says, "Thank you for having a great disposition and a positive attitude. The chat joke because you let us at your expense because it is a welcome distraction. Are you victim shaming me? That sounds like victim shaming. No, no, not victim. That's victim blaming. You're blaming me for the chat's violence, William F. Are you serious? Are you freaking serious? I was just asking about Helmet's head douche wound, concerned for his safety and viability, and you're gonna victim blame me? Are you serious? Is this where we're at right now? Manticore united us a few minutes ago with this compliment to me, and here you are victim blaming me, and now we're divided again. You divided the community. This is violence, and I don't approve of it. Stop it now. I'm calling for unity right now. I really am. I saw what you wrote to Tomady, and I'm not reading it. I'm not reading it, Tomady. Not at all. Colorform saying getting all practice. You know, Colorform, you can type whatever you want. You're still banned. You're banned, Colors. You know that. Outlaws DX, that's Helmet. The t-shirt though. Didn't you wear? I just put it on today, Helmet. I put the shirt on today. This is a new today shirt, clean and everything from the closet, straight out of the closet onto my skin today. As a matter of fact, an hour ago. No wait, 2 hours ago. What's up with you people in the chat? Like we were doing so good and so well. You think Kim Deitch had this problem when he was doing his comics? You think he was this all being attacked from all directions by you people with spears being chucked at? No, not being chucked at, chucking them. People with your spears chucking them. You think Kim Deitch had that problem? No, he was doing his comics. He was working with quite a few artists putting out his comics, the Waldo comics and the Sunshine Girl comics, and then later on we're going to talk about the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. He was doing all great work, and you know what he didn't have to worry about? He didn't have to worry about people chucking spears at him. He had support, but I get none from you people. None, none. Paulus, I agree the market can be a good indicator, but the market also changes trends, likes to be safe. Well, as a consumer, or as an objective observer, I guess, you just gotta discern between what is the trend and what is the comic with or the item, the product with lasting legacy. So when it comes to the arts, you gotta be able to discern what's the trend and what's the legacy. So there's that at least. What the reader wants us calling won't always align with collectors. This is the problem with Marvel Comics now. So a lot of people have made the claim about the collector's market ruining comics in terms of the readership. I've heard more than one person say that people just buy the comics thinking it's going to collect value, and then they wait for that time to sell it and flip it, but they never read the comic. And nobody talks about the stories. They just have a book with a pretty picture, hoping that they can flip it and make money off of it. And the problem with that is a lot of comics lose money because you get all these reprints, all these variants, um, and it's like that kills the value of that comic. On top of the fact that maybe the comic isn't that good, people read it and it's not that good, so who's going to want it? There's no value in the story. There's nothing significant about that comic, so that alone makes it devalued. So who's going to pay $1 for it? You know. So there's that at least. Now, Outlaw. Now, how much putting fresh T-shirts in the chat? You know how many? You know, I'm gonna pray for you. Helmet. I'm gonna pray for you. I know you have a head douche wound right now, but I'm gonna forgive you. I forgive you. Okay. So we'll get back to Sunshine Girl. Let's go to the next image. This is which one? Okay, this is more from the Waldo comics. Actually, yeah, is this Waldo's from or is this Boulevard of Broken Dreams? I think this is from Boulevard of Broken Dreams, I believe, because this is the art style that he does in that book. Yeah, this is definitely Boulevard of Broken Dreams, which features his character of Waldo. But the main character in that book was what's the name of the character is Ted Mishkin. And I'm probably jumping ahead, but let me go and show more of the artwork by Kim Deitch. This is from one of his strips called Beyond the Pale. And as simple as it is, you can see that the wonderful detail the nice, wonderful detail in this. In that houses, this reminds me of like some Disney cartoons where they animate the houses or they animate the cars. Actually, some Tech Every cartoons did the same thing too. They animated the cars. But you could definitely get, if you're familiar with, like I am, with the 30s and 40s and 50s cartoons, the short cartoons that have like animated buildings or animated forests or cars. It looks just like those. So helmet got a head wound, says Gee. That's mean. Shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say that about a helmet, um, Gifford. But he does have a head wound, so yeah. Manicore says cars don't have eyes. Well, this is a drawing, Manicore. Can an artist draw something? Is he allowed to make cartoons and draw? Why do you have to gatekeep him? It's not nice of you. Great Goldworm says it looks like Toontown and Roger. I was just gonna say that, Great Gold. Yeah, it is. I mean, Roger Rabbit was inspired by all the cartoons of the 30s and 40s. So yeah, it does have that Toontown feel to it. Good catch, by the way. Great Gold, good catch. Tim Olden says this is an acid trip. A lot of these underground comics artists weren't in on drugs, so I wouldn't put it past Kim if he was on something doing this. So Collins says, as a creator, I see not to gain the world. I desire to keep my soul. I value readers who support this more than the masses buying the pop appeal who will turn on you. 100%. 100%, Colin. And actually, let me close this for a second because I want to show Colin's chat because this is my mindset, which is um I rather have people that read my books and like and those that have read my books enjoy it. Like I've had people that would say one thing or another about my art, but when they read the story and then see the art and in their mind it recontextualizes the art, they enjoy the book and they enjoy the story. They love it. They're entertained by it. And I want those people. I want to cultivate that kind of group that's gonna read my books and enjoy it for what it is and talk about it and cultivate that. That is where I'm at with that. So Mazepanda says the cars remind me of those Chevron car cartoons, and the illustration overall gives me vibes of the busy world of Richard Scarry. Yeah, you can see the influence in that. It's all like feeding off one another. So it made you think of something. And Greg Gold was thinking of Roger. I was thinking of Roger Rabbit too. I was actually thinking of Betty the Cab. But yeah, Toontown, totally Toontown is definitely a was inspired by this type of thing. So, but anyway, let's get back to the images. This is talking about Gothic Blimp Works. This is one of his contributions. Of course, no commentary necessary. Actually, when I was looking at Kim's stuff, there was some stuff that was like, yeah, as for the comics movement, like some stuff is a bit sexual, and I gotta make sure not to show it on stream so I don't get struck. But yeah, they had no qualms experimenting with sexuality and all that stuff. So, Stuff of Dreams, another one of his books. As you can see, Waldo's in there as well. But just to get a feel for his art style and the colors, very second. Someone said this was psychedelic, and I agree. This has a very psychedelic look. I like the psychedelic look because I like the colors that pop out. I like the contrast of colors that gives it vibrancy and life. That's why I don't like the modern day coloring. Maybe let me know what you guys in the chat think. But this modern coloring, I don't like it. And I know it's a lot of it's computerized, but I don't like it. I like the more cartoonish coloring. Even up to the 80s, like with the DC Marvel coloring, I like that type of coloring. It's just it's just fun to look at. It helps you escape the real world when you're reading a comic. Like line art being what it is, I feel like the coloring is what determines if what you're looking at is escapist or not. And I think that's why some artists stick to black and white to keep it from looking too real. But yeah, this is something that I prefer in terms of the coloring. That's why. Oh wait, am I even showing it? There we go. I don't think I showed it, did I? Yeah, let me go. I was showing this before. Shit, damn it. There we go. So this is what I was showing before from Gothic Blimp's work. When I was talking about sexuality and how I did want to show some of his other stuff because it was a bit risque. So, but there's that. And I talked about this before, the anthropomorphism. But this is what I was talking about with the coloring. This right here. Actually, let me go back here for a second. Let me make sure I'm showing it. Oh, see, look how small it is. Look how small it is. Oh, wait. I gotta do that. There we go. Okay. So yeah, this is what I was showing. Now we got a good clear shot. We got a good clear shot. There we go. Okay. Now we go to this. So this is what I was showing regarding the coloring. There you go. Oh wait, Monkey King has a point. He says if you hard zoom, you can see the dot colors overlaid on flats. Yeah, okay. Let me show that for a second. Yeah, I know what he's talking about, and let me show you guys what I'm talking about. The dot coloring. So, well, you can't really see it on this ping because of the quality of the digital file, but in some of these comics, if the quality looks clear enough, you can see like the dots in the coloring. The reason why that's a thing is because if you guys remember, Michael Malice made an appearance on Joe Rogan a few weeks back when he was talking about the Rippaverse and his collaboration with Eric July. He had on this face paint, and some people were confused about what that face paint was. Well, that face paint was the dot matrix um, uh, thing, I guess. What do you call it? Yeah, it's the dot matrix artistic technique that a lot of the pop art comics and the pop art stuff that was done by like Andy Warhol, what they used for the coloring. Gifford says Felix the cat. No, that's Waldo. So this is Waldo, who was inspired in part by Felix the cat. So Waldo is Kim Deitch's signature character, and because it's underground, he could get away with it. So yeah. Monkey King says manga uses them with that texture regarding the dot matrix style. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. So William F says, is your book still available to purchase? Are you talking about Pumpkin War Patch? I'm gonna do so William F, I'm gonna be doing issue 3 crowdfund in a month, and then you'll have the opportunity to back issues 1 and 2. But let me just quickly say this: so issues 1 and 2. So right now, and I'm gonna send an update on my Kickstarter. But right now, I'm gonna be shopping around for printers for this one because the printers that I used for like my Road Warrior Drink books, the quote that I got, it sort of exceeded what I raised on my Kickstarter. So I have to go shop around the next day or two so I can get a good quote. So that way, I'm not asking you guys who backed it to fork over more money. So that's where I'm at with that right now. So I'm hoping to get that. I was supposed to have it ready by last month, but there was an issue with a for example, there was a fire that happened nearby, so that delayed things a bit. But when I finally got the quote from the print shop, well, they quoted me. It kind of exceeded what I raised, so I gotta like no, I gotta go elsewhere with this. So, and I'm not gonna ask you to pay more than what you need to for a floppy. But I will be crowdfunding issue 3 next month after I've delivered issues 1 and 2 to the backers. And then if you didn't get issues 1 and 2, I'll have that on the next crowdfunder as well. So you'll have a chance to catch up. I promise that. Okay, so going back to this stuff of dreams. Let me go to the next slide here. This is okay. So this is from Boulevard of Broken Dreams. This is the graphic novel that Kim did in 2000 and no 2002. So this is actually, for what it's worth, a more recent work that he did. And this was supposed to be a commentary on the American animation industry. And it was described as the main character being an amalgamation of various animators in the industry. So this is based on like his experience and what he's heard. But you can see a cavalcade of inking styles. This is also from Waldo. More artwork from Waldo. Here you go. Now this is Boulevard of Broken Dreams. There you go. So what he does with this graphic novel, you can see how he just packs a lot of stuff in each panel. So he's just throwing a lot of information in each panel, and I like how he plays with the text. And let me say this: like, if my handwriting was neater, I would do more handwritten text in my comics. But it's not that neat, so I feel like handwritten text just looks aesthetically pleasing in a comic because it adds to the artwork of the comic. What do you guys in the chat think? Do you think like the handwritten text adds more to like the artistic appeal of a comic, or do you prefer like prepared fonts. Oz Grade says you should do a misprint campaign. You can charge double. Yeah, but I'm not scummy like that. I just I'm not gonna ask people to forego more money for the same book. So, but I will do this. So like once next week once everything is set, whatever, I'm gonna send everybody PDFs while I get the books printed. So at the very least, you guys will get PDFs of Pumpkin War Patch 1 and 2. Colin says that the raunchy regressive parodies tear down the old artistic animation built up. Yeah, so the thing with the underground comics movement, Colin, is because it was a uh, a direct response to the Comics Code Authority. It got really raunchy and some stuff, and me myself, admittedly, I'm not a fan of the raunchy stuff. So yeah, he says it's part of the destruction of culture. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's an argument for that. I think so. Again, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the raunchy stuff. But for what it's worth, it became a part of the comic pop culture. So um, but Collins, he likes the handwritten text. Yeah, I do too. I like it as well. Tim Mo says, "What did you take on raunchy parodies?" I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of raunchy parodies. That's why for the longest time I really didn't like trauma films. Like I would watch a couple of them, and while they were fun to watch at times, but when it got raunchy, I just didn't like it. I mean, I'm 48 years. I'll be 48 in June, and I'm at a point where it's like I don't really care for raunch. I know some people go look at my Pumpkin War Patch comics and they're like, "Why don't you do raunchy yourself?" I'm like, "No, they're not raunchy. They're not raunchy. Like, I mean, there's some adult content in the Pumpkin War Patch comics, but it's not raunchy. And I try to keep that in mind when I do it. So thank you, Lady Shadowband. Lady Shadowband is here to keep. She's here to keep me grounded. Lady Shadowband is. So like, she'll let me know her feedback and help me to get a better gauge on my book. So Master Panda says these pages look really good. The heavy blacks on the main characters work well against the white and create a great balance on the page. I do too. I everything you said. I co-sign on. It does have a nice balance to it. Let me scroll up a little bit on this page here so you can see the bottom. Look at the grays on this one, and I think it's Tricky Dick on the bottom there. That's Tricky Dick on the bottom first two panels. So, uh, so Tim Wilson asks, so the envelope was pushed on purpose? Yeah, you could say it was. You could say it was like a pushback on the Comics Code Authority. So they say, you know what, we're gonna just put in as much raunch as possible, and you can't stop us. And that's what got people like R. Crumb there and Von Bodie. Although Von Bodie wasn't actually no, Von Bodie wasn't as raunchy though. Like Von Bodie's real life was very raunchy. It was very careless, but his comics weren't. Whereas R. Crumb's comics were pretty raunchy. Collins says it's supposed to attack the Comics Code without addressing books affected by it. It attacks pre-Hayes code art here. It's regressive in the wrong way, he says. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument for that, sure. Desert Nomad says, Hail the chat. Hail the chat. Hail Desert Nomad. Good seeing you here. Good to see you here. Massive Panda says, yeah, I think there's a thin line between sex appeal and actual smut. But everybody's miles vary, so it can be risky to skate that line. Yeah, I don't want my comics to ever be called smut. There is that fine line. Totally. Stanley also credit from Jack Kirby system also. Yeah, I mean, I know that's there. I know that is a thing, but that's not the subject for the. Stay on topic, Tim Olson. That's why you're banned. Stop doing band zone stuff. Here's more work from Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I think I'm gonna have to seek this book out. I really like this art style, and I really like um the text, the lettering, and it's actually this book. I wrote my notes on it. So this book was actually let me get the artwork back up. There we go. Okay, artwork's back up. But this book was called the Time Magazine. One of the okay, one of the 100 best English language graphic novels ever written by Time Magazine in 2005. This was listed as top 100 English language graphic novels of all time. That's high praise. I should find that list and read that list in 2005. What they put in that list. That'd be interesting to look at. Blasey was just Trump took it pretty far. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. I'm a fan of his artwork, but not so much his storytelling. But for what it's worth, he's one of those that really helped indie comic artists really get their foot in the door. So there's that at least. But Collins Lee gets too much flack. Stan Lee gets too much flack. Stanley, without Stanley, there's no Marvel. At the end of the day, say what you will about him taking credit from Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko or whatever. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for Stan Lee, Marvel wouldn't be what it is today. Let's just put it out there. Give him his criticism, but also give him his due. That's all I can say about that. Another page from Boulevard of Broken Dreams. This one is Kino, absolute Kino. This is art. This is absolute art right here. I'm gonna leave it on here for a second. I want to see what you guys think of this. This is absolute art by Kim Deitch. Oh. Collins says Conan is a romanticist work that upholds beauty, not the downtrodden harlotry of pornography. Lousy one says nice regarding the artwork on screen here. Wasn't Kirby a freelancer? Says Tim Wilson. Um, I believe he was. I mean, Kirby didn't just do work for Marvel. Like he was one of the minds. I believe he was one of the minds behind Thunder the Barbarian. I think Kirby worked on Thunder the Barbarian. I could be wrong, but can somebody in the chat verify that if Jack Kirby was one of the people that was responsible for Thunder the Barbarian? Because he didn't just stick with Marvel. Wait, he says, quit ignoring your questions. He says, what counts as raunchy, parody, or smut? I think that's a conversation for another day because that's a whole other topic. Because there is the argument about what some people may consider just raunchy, or some would just go and say, well, that's just straight up pornography. Like, some people think that just having a chick in a bathing suit is pornography. I don't agree with that, but there are some people that think that. So that's why I think that's a conversation for another day. Here's what I think though. Here's what I'll tell you this. I think if the purpose of the comic is just to have raunchy sex in it, it's raunchy. If there's any nudity involved, then it's pornography. And that was one of the things that plagued the underground comics movement for a bit until like there was a court case, and I think I talked about this. Uh, there was a court case that ruled in favor of the underground comics movement. One of the artists in it. Let me see if I can find it. What was the court case? Supreme Court case regarding. Let's see. Let's see. What was it? Okay. Oh, it was the Miller versus California, 1973. Let me take this off for a second so you guys can see my face because my face is important. So, oh, Great Ghost says Kirby also worked on Herculoids. See, that makes sense because Herculoids, the cartoons like Herculoids and Thundar, they had that 60s Marvel vibe comics to it, and that makes sense. Kirby had that was a Kirby style. That makes sense now. So that's I totally now the correlation is there. It makes sense. It connects. So, um, anyway, Miller versus California, 1973. So Miller versus California. It establishes a three-pronged Miller test to determine obscenity, whether the work taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest, is patently offensive, and lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. So it establishes that obscene material is not protected by the First Amendment. However, to be declared obscene, the work must, taken as a whole, lack serious artistic, political, or scientific value. So that makes me wonder about porn, because if porn's not protected, then does that? I don't know. That's all. I'm just. This is what they ruled in '73. Um. Ooh, there's a rabbit hole here. I'm looking at some court cases. There's a rabbit hole in this one. Oof. Huh. Yeah, I'm not go there. I just read something. I was like, oh shit, there's a court case on that. I'm like, oh no, oh god. Anyway, so I just want to just put that out there. So, oh, look who's in the chat. It's Kissfist. KSS is in the chat. Where have you been, Kissfist? Where have you been? Stop causing violence? You took it to be here, KSS? Really? You took good to be here, Kissy? What, you just hung us out here? Is that why? KSS? Anyway, he says, Elasma draws raunchy pornography. Drake goes in the tall grass with his corkscrew peepee in hand. Fabulous. You wish, Kessler! You wish! We were having a good conversation. A good, thoughtful, analytical conversation just now. And you ruined it, KSS. You ruined it! And there's Gifford saying that scene made our crumb blood. You wish, Gifford! You wish! Jake goes into a tall patch of grass where he meets the elders, the exiled elders, if you read the story, and you want to put something that is smartphone in that scene because that's what you have, a smartphone mind. But you can't look at anything without having your politic mind with corrupt in your face. I'm gonna tell you right now, kids. I'm gonna tell you right now. What I mean to say was, your feedback, what it is, it's not conducive to this community discussion we're having. So anyway. Why? Well, Monkey King has a good point. He says, smut is there to titillate you. Risque and nudity is for admiration. Porn and smut is titillation. You know the difference when you see it. Good point. Yeah, that is there's an intent. If what you're making has the intent of titillation, then yeah, it's porn. I agree with that. I said the P word a lot of times, and anyone that YouTube's gonna ban me. So, um, Gifford says, I always thought smut was another term for porn, something worse than porn. Um, I mean, I just same. I guess it's the same thing. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Road Warrior Drake was having a meeting in the grass. As Tim Wilson, he met the exiled elders. If you read the story, you wouldn't know what was going on in this freaking town. How do you people just are so slow? Road Warrior Drake and his human girlfriend. No, no, no. Okay, so Road Warrior Drake is asexual. He engages in absolute no bestiality. As a matter of fact, I kind of find it weird when you have cartoons or comics where the anthropomorphic animal character is in a relationship with a human being. I'm like, that, that's one of the things I didn't like about Cerebus, and I get that it led to some like very well written stories, including Jaka's story among others. But I always thought Cerebus and Jaka getting together was just weird. I'm like, that's where Sim lost me. I'm like, it's weird. At least with Roger Rabbit, they played it for laughs, but he was treating like it was kind of like serious. I'm like, oh. Lady Shaban says she knows the difference between smut and porn. Did you want to say something, or are you just telling me?
Smut is literary based. Like
Say it louder.
Smut is considered literary based
Mhm.
erotic things like fan fiction, books, things like that, and porn is more visual based.
That's an interesting distinction. What do you guys think of that? That seems like it aligns. I think, yeah, it kind of aligns. Although there are some people that will say that written works can also count as porn, but I think it's a good distinction. That's kind of aligns with what I've always assumed. I think so. Yeah, that's a interesting distinction there. I think it does you know. Giefers that is Arcrum, and Arcrum is porn by that definition. No, Arcrum stuff, his stuff is comedy. Like he mocks sexuality. Um, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying it as a fan of his stuff, but his stuff has stories in it, but he uses sexuality to mock it. Honestly, I think if you're turned on by Art Crumb stuff, that makes it kind of weird, in my opinion. But anyway, that's not a hill I'm gonna die on either. Though I'm not gonna die on that hill. That's just my view on that stuff. Monkey King says it's too quiet. Can you repeat what Lady Shut Up and said? Well, she said that smut is um what written works
And porn is visual.
and porn is visual. So smut
Images, smut is fan fiction.
so smut is like fan fiction, books, things like that, and porn is visual, like video movies and comics. And as soon as you said fan fiction, I was thinking about something like let me not go there. Not in the stream. I'm not go there.
If it's written and it's erotic,
There you go. So it's written in erotic. It's considered smut. That is what she says. Even says even says R. Crumb is turned on by R. Crumb stuff. Well, I mean, R. Crumb's a degenerate. R. Crumb is a degenerate. We're not gonna pretend he's not. I think he himself admits he's a degenerate. So that's all I can say about that. Kaya says last night, draw 1956 The Werewolf. You jerk. The next one I'm gonna draw. Hey, it says to spite you is gonna be um that werewolf movie with Michael Landon. It was I was a teenage werewolf. I'm gonna draw that. To spite you. Just anyway, let's continue on with Kim Deitch. So we like this artwork here. I liked it. Okay. Moving on. More pages from Boulevard of Broken Dreams, his most successful graphic novel and Time Magazine's top 100 English graphic novels of all time. You can see why, because he experiments with different art styles. He's capturing a period of time in history, and it reminds me. This definitely you can see the older Fleischer cartoon inspirations on this one for sure, absolutely. And there's I like this one. I like so much. I like how he plays with filling up the page. You know, a train set. It looks like a maze. Like your eyes when you look at this panel. Let me back it up a little bit. So you look at this panel, right? You look at it, and it just your eyes just visually move along with the page. It's just this is how you create a panel and tell the story in a panel. It's not just the line work; it's how you design it. Design is a big part in comic art. It's just because as a visual storytelling medium, it's not just the words that help you tell the story, but it's how the pictures guide your eyes. This is one of the things that I learned from Carmine and Fantino is um, having your eyes being led throughout the entire panel and how the panel leads your eyes into looking at the entire panel. Um, Giefer says, Pumpkin Warpath kind of smut. No, no, I don't think it does. I mean, it's an adult only comic, but it's adult only for a reason. I mean, there's some like there's gonna be some nudity in the book for sure, but not as smut though, because there's a story being told in that. I am telling a story, and it is gonna have like a very epic conclusion. Oh, we have Lord Raptor in the chat. Let me shout Lord Raptor. Here he is in the chat. He says, "Woo, hail the MF chat!" Says Lord Raptor. By the way, prayers to Lord Raptor. Going through some things with family members, but the news he's giving me is good. So shout out to Lord Raptor. Shout out to the family, to the Raptor Jesus family. So Aramis Cthulhu says good artwork display this week. Looks intriguing. You talk about this page, this panel right here, right? Yeah, I like this a lot. This is Kino. This is Kino. KSS says I was a teenage werewolf. That's not that's not that different looking than the Wolfman. You unimaginative nincompoop. Draw the werewolf. He has a bunch of drool dripping from his mouth. Make it creep. Listen to me. I draw werewolves, and you people lambast it and make it look like other animals. That's my fault. That's your filthy, degenerate fault. Kazoo! Blasey was. I like the art. I love it too. I like this. Is like this is just It's just I look at it and it just makes me feel a certain way. It makes me feel good. I like it. I really do like it. It's inspiring. You know. Let's go back to it. Oh wait, no, I gotta hit the button here. There we go, back to it. So let's go back to the next page here. Oh, that's it. I think that's it. Is that it? That's all the artwork that I have here. I think so. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, this is pretty much the gist of Kim Deitch's style and his artwork and his influence. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and let me just shrink this a little bit because I want to keep it on screen for a bit, but I don't want to cloud the chat. So let me do this here. There. There we go. So now we have the artwork on stream, my mug, and the chat. So now we got actually let me make this a bit more pleasing. Wait. There we go. OBS problems. OBS problems. There we go. Okay. You can't really see that well though. There we go. Okay, we'll work with that for now. But we got Bancroft in the chat. How you doing, Bancroft? Welcome. Hope you're having a good day today, wherever you're staying at. Um, see Utah. This is Utah. That's Utah. That's Utah. Wait, Gifford says that's fine. Not so for a Lasmat. Nearly 50. What are you talking about, Gifford? What are you talking about? What are you guys in the chat talking about? Oh, and LC says F Crapter. So shout out to LC. What are you guys talking about in the chat? What is this gay opping in the chat? Like I'm talking about Kim Deitch and Kizovitz trying to derail it with the werewolf stuff, and then I got him underailed because the chat needs me to underail shit. There you go. Fix the template. What's still? I don't understand. Raptor says, all good now. Everybody's going through how to scare, but everything's okay now. Thanks, bud. There we go. Shout out to Lord Raptor. Anyway, Bankroll says he had a stressful day, but it's almost over. Thankfully, 3 hours of work left. Well, nice. Good. Well, I hope that, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to stream for the next 3 hours. I'll try to stream for the next half hour or so forth and keep you all company till then. But hopefully, where you're at right now, it's helping pass a little bit of the time and keeping your mind stress free away from the world's problems because Lord knows the world's problems are what they are. So let's just um, further build the arts because uh, that's where our escape is. And I found a coffee shop near where I live at, a nice little plant and coffee shop, and I love the atmosphere. So I want to try to balance my work and to go out and just do more of just like embracing, absorbing the community, the real life community, because there's a mission field out there, and as an artist, I gotta get it out there. Blondie says, you know you can take the protective sticker off the camera. This doesn't have a protective sticker. I took it off. Wait, did I take it off? Oh wait, I didn't take it off. Oh shit. Look at that. It did have a protective sticker. Holy shit. Look at that. Wait, but then again, it didn't cover the lens though. No, it didn't cover the lens, so it's no, this didn't cover the lens. So there's no protective sticker. Did you just gay out me? Blasi one? Did you gay out me? Was I just gay opt right now? I think I was just gay opt. Hmm. Osgrade Chase says, that art looks like a video game Cuphead, and a lot of that looks like a peanut head. Aha! 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 That's why I think your comment there. Osgrade Chase. That was uncalled for. Unprofessional, even. That was very unprofessional. Even my dog disagrees with the comment. See, she's pissed off too. You pissed off my therapy dog. And when you piss off my therapy dogs, you're on my shit list. You're on my big shit list, Osway Sage. You pissed off my therapy dog. That's a no-no. I don't allow that.
I do. It's okay.
Please don't say that aloud. Anyway. Dan says a blue t-shirt again. I just wore the same for the first time in weeks. What's wrong with you, kids of this? What's wrong with you? Are you a shirt Nazi? Is that what it is? Eliza, you know most people change t-shirts daily. They don't wear the same t-shirt for a week. I just wore this today. I made sure to wear a different shirt today to keep you people from insulting me and throwing slander my way. Unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Bancroft says, it's fine. Your dated decor matches the vintage webcam. See, he gets it. Bancroft gets it. Wait, what do you mean my dated decor? This is new. Like I bought this a couple years ago. This is all new stuff, all new tchotchke. These books are well, some of them are brand new, but still, there's nothing ancient about this. This is modern. This is well, is it really modern though? I don't know. I gotta do a better job of displaying my tchotchkes. Um, but there's my Stay Put Marshmallow Man figure. So that I drew on my Monday Monster Moratorium / Boring Community draw stream when we did Ghostbusters. Great movie, by the way. Um, he goes to a shirt food bank. They only have so much. You people are sick and insane with your fan fiction. Like, why are you such weirdos? You're making a fan fiction about me going to a food bank, a t-shirt bank to get t-shirts. Are you that? Do you really think that little of me? Look, I may be a poor, but I'm not that poor. I go to Ross's or Boskov, like anybody else, and I buy my shirts there. So I'm not that much of a poor. Unbelievable. It's just the fear that some of you have when I talk about the success of past indie comic artists. And Kim Deitch, I've talked about Kim Deitch in previous streams, but as an aside, when I mentioned some of the artists that worked with the pioneers of the underground comics movement, but I said, you know what? I was looking at my list of people that I've covered, and some I'm going to cover again with better information, and I may even start doing videos. I'm thinking about doing a. I'm jumping ahead. I'll talk about that in a sec, but I say when I looked at my list, I said, you know what? I haven't done Kim Deitch. I gotta do Kim Deitch. I think he's someone I should have done a while ago. So I put him on my list, and I was like, I like what I'm seeing. This artwork is great. It's perfect for the topic at hand. So, but going back to the videos, like, I was like, I do want to do at some point. I do want to do like a little video or maybe a semi doc or maybe a long form doc on the underground comics movement, so we can compare it to a failed movement like Comicsgate. So you can see, and not so much to do it as a way to compare it to CG. I mean, compare it to CG after you watch the documentary and say, okay, now in my head, well, how did this movement work? And you contextualize it with what has happened recently, and then you could see why that movement, why the comics movement, the underground comics movement, did so well, and why it was so influential. And and of course, I have to cover some of the more riskier stuff, and I would try to be as tasteful as I can, but it is a part of the movement, and it has to be covered. But the freedom that was allotted to these artists who just grabbed the freedom to make what they wanted to make had a big hand in it. And that is one of the things that stifles modern indie comics is it's not so much that an artist doesn't have the freedom to make what they want. It's just that when they make what they want, then they're stifled by outside influencers who either see it as a threat or just don't like what it looks like and just decide, hey, let's trash it because why not, right? Let's just trash it. And some artists dip out of the scene because of that, because they try something different, or they try to be creative, or they try to be whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it. And they couldn't handle the pushback, they couldn't handle the feedback, they couldn't handle the criticism, whatever you want to call it. But still, it's like if it's a space that's supposed to be free, then what you do should be what you do, and what someone else does, it's like stay in your lane. Like stay in your lane and let that other creator, let that other artist do what he wants to do and let the market decide. But there is definitely some controversy or some pushback on that, which is weird. Which is weird. Colin says Don Bluth would be cool to cover. I like his art style, but it wouldn't fit with the stream because his art style was what I would consider more mainstream. But I like his style. He's definitely a legend in terms of animation, for sure. So Matt Burks' new Hellwar book has an underground vibe going on since Michael Bancroft. Um, did I see that? I wonder if I saw that. So I remember you, Michael. You were talking. Was that the guy you had on your stream last weekend? Because Angela said to me that you had mentioned my stream on that, and I checked it out. I was like, oh yeah, I saw the artwork on that. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly that does fit the vibe of the indie comic outlier stream. So, and I was glad to see that because more comics should try to just be free, just create. Don't worry about the polished look of it. Just create and see where it goes with that. And just reform your style. Polish your style. Um, Black Justice TM says, I'm here because of the Black Cat. Oh yes, the Black Cat. That's Waldo. That's a creation by Kim Deitch, which was inspired by Felix the Cat. It was meant to be a parody on that. But that was his signature character. Colin says, if we cover Jim Davis, we can do Blue. Blue was not loyal to one company. No, so Bluth's style, here's the thing. Don Bluth's art style is okay, I'll pull up for a second. Let me oh look at that. I just had top Bluth and your art style pops up. So his style is very polished. It's unique in its own way, don't get me wrong. And I like his style. but no one would say that Don Bluth's work wouldn't belong in any comic. Whereas an underground comic artist, people would have questions about it, and it's like, yeah, the people that would have questions are the ones who are not buying it. The readers are the ones who determine it. So that's why he wouldn't be a fit per se. Whereas Jim Davis wasn't underground, but his stuff, his artwork, is what it is because of the story he told, and it fits. So that's my criteria. Yeah. Mazepana says an underground comics movement documentary would be great. I wish indie comics could have another movement or revival, but the scene has been kind of stale lately. So let me give you a hot take, Mazepana. I don't foresee a movement in indie comics anytime soon. Reason being is this: there is a lot of divide regarding format and also the AI. By format, I mean a lot of comic producers transition over to digital file, like PDFs or whatever, and they had no issue with that. Whereas other comic artists are like, no, I'm just sticking to physical media only. Now, I like physical media, and I am going to keep on physical media, but I'm not going to also forsake PDFs, the digital comics, because there is a growing contingent of people that do read digital comics. So you don't want to forsake that audience. But that's one of the things that is divide indie comics is that. Also, the AI thing has gotten a lot of. Well, here's what the AI has done. And Monkey King is saying, well, indie comics movement is over. Too many crabs in the bucket. That's the other thing too. So many indie comic artists, so there's no real defining or definitive vision or visual stamp on it. So that is a thing too. I do agree with that, Monkey King. But here's what the AI. Here's the AI thing: is there is a pushback on AI, and it's vocal, right? It's vocal. A lot of indie comic artists are vocal on it, and they're pushing back on it. The problem with that is, as vocal as they are on pushing back against the AI, they're very quiet and silent when it comes to promoting other indie comic artists. So it's that whole like, um, what is it? It's that whole spotlighting the problem, but not necessarily spotlighting the solution. Complaining about the problem, but not necessarily pointing to a solution that is viable. That's the problem. And this is an objective point I'm going to make. This is objective. You can disagree with it, but I'm sticking with observable reality. Is these artists that are pushing away from AI and not doing anything with it, unfortunately, for the most part, not all of them, but this is observable reality. They're going to be left in the dust because they're not advancing themselves. And I'm not saying to use AI to advance themselves, but they're not doing anything to advance themselves. They're not doing anything. It's just we scream about AI and we shout against it and we put a blacklist on anybody in the comic scene that is pro AI. And that's the thing. If you're a comic artist and you're pro AI, they blacklist you. I know for a fact some indie comic groups in Facebook have banned people just for using AI in their trailers for their comic book promos. They could draw a comic book by hand, but if they use AI to do a trailer, they get banned from those groups. That is the thing. I've seen them on one of the Facebook pages I'm in, and I'm sure some Reddit pages are that way too. I'm sure of it. But um, as much energy they put into pushing out the AI, they're not using any of it to come up with a viable solution to help keep these artists sustaining with what they're doing. So Michael Bancroft says the internet changed the underground comics movement from a necessity to a niche artistic choice. I think that's the best way of putting it. No, that's a very good way of putting it because the underground comics movement in a way was a necessity, as also the alternative movement of the '80s. Those are necessities. Whereas like the internet, yeah, it just made it interesting because as going back to Monkey King's point, too many crabs in the bucket. So it's become where now artists are a dime a dozen, you know? So there's no real uniqueness when it comes to indie comics anymore. Which is why people appreciate what I'm doing because my shit, Road Warrior Drake stuff, you can say what you want, but it stands up on its own. This is the manga version of Beast and Road Warrior Drake, by the way. Like, if you can see it, like it stands up on its own. Like you're not gonna see many comics in this scene with this art style, and that's by design. So is the manga version. And I'm gonna be crowdfunding this later on, I guess, at some point. But I want to do a couple of Pumpkin War Patch stuff, and then I still got to work on the 5th anniversary edition of Street Champion with Rory Drake. But that's the thing is like everybody's trying to be like Image. A lot of indie comics are trying to be like Image. They're trying to copy that style, and by copying it, they're not really standing out. They're not standing out, so people are bored with it. The average comic fan are bored with it because you get past the art. Well, what's the story? What's the story? So, Master Panda says you're right. Indie comics has evolved into both AI usage and AI art, which hunts. Oh, okay. I read that. Let me read that again. Words are hard. Indie comics has evolved into both AI usage and AI art witch hunts, an infestation of politics and internet beefs. I don't think the scene can thrive if it continues down this road. I will say this, like, and for those listening to the chat, hear me out. When you do a stream and you're a comic book writer or comic artist, when people come to your streams and you're selling a comic or you're the whole thing is you want people to be invested in your comic or your character, you want them to be starved for that comic book, right? The way not to do it is to spend streams talking about politics and political stuff because that audience, that political audience, they're not there to buy your comic. They want to hear what you got to say. They want that confirmation bias, but they ain't there to buy your comic. We learned that from Duck to April. We learned that from Mike S. Miller, and we sure as heck learned that when some of us migrated over to like Parlor and Getter during the Twitter purge of 2018. That those that are like politically on the right don't really necessarily buy comics. They're not really artistic minded. That's one of my gripes with that. But that's another discussion for another day. But if you're selling a comic or you're trying to get people in your brand and your streams are mostly focused on politics, you're not going to get people to buy your books that way because it's like okay, so it's like going into Starbucks. And hear me out. When you go into a Starbucks, for example, you go in and you get that coffee scent, right? Or they're cooking that sandwich or the bagel. You're already hit with the scent of something that tastes or smells good. That is by design because they want you once you walk into a Starbucks, they want you to buy their product. So the way to get you to buy their product is to automatically hit you with it, with the scent, and to get you wanting to try it. I learned that when I was doing training for a job 20 years ago when I was in the truck rental business, and they taught us that. They said uh, to get people to buy your stuff when they come into your space, you want to automatically inspire them to buy it, and you got to figure out a way wherever you're working or what kind of business you're doing to get them to buy your stuff, and it's got to match what you're selling. So when you're doing a live stream, the topics kind of have to get people inspired to want to buy your books, and it's easier for comedians, real comedians, who do live streams to sell books if they have books because they are the product, they are the brand. So uh, that kind of entertainment always sells. But Gieford says, "Stop trying to be profound. It's not right. I am profound, Gieford. I'm very profound. You're in the band zone. Stay there." Velocity One says, "Movements, even trends, are largely placed in time. They need to be put out. They need to put out evergreen quality to last very long." Yeah, well, the underground comics movement lasted almost 10 years, and the alternative movement lasted 10 to 12, 15, maybe 15 years. That's a good shelf life for that. Yeah. Colin says, "I've read a lot of comics. I feel the decline fully hit in the 90s. I am averse to them. I was born after that time, so maybe I don't have taste for it." Believe it or not, Colin, me myself, as a kid growing up in the 80s, when the 90s hit, I wasn't necessarily feeling a lot of the comics. I definitely wasn't feeling Image. I was not an Image guy. And I read very few independent comics, including J. Albar's The Crow, which when I first read it, I didn't particularly like it. I thought the movie was better, but then upon a second look at it, and thanks to uh, comics kayfabe, yeah, cartoonist kayfabe. Words are hard. Cartoonist kayfabe. I actually had a greater appreciation for J. Albar's The Crow, especially with the artwork. But the 90s did not sell me on comics. But even though there was a lot of comics based movies and cartoons that came out of it, including the Max, for example, but even though like I wasn't a huge fan of it, and there was a HBO Spawn cartoon, but the 90s didn't really. inspire me with comics. Like to me, the '80s was the zenith of it, in my opinion. The '80s was it. So, um, Mazepana says endless rambling about politics worked well in the 20th century and current era no talent hacks in the so-called fine art scene, but comic content should be priority in comics. Novel idea, I know. Yeah, yeah. I want people to come to my stream and be inspired to buy my books, not to be feeling bad about world events, right? So, Tim Owens says, I love 90s comics, but I do see the value in a variety of styles. So, let's see here. Michael Bancroft says, when I first started making art, it was so political. Not, I look back on it now with unadulterated cringe. That's a sign of maturity as an artist, and that's a sign that the veil has been lifted, and you see what art's supposed to be. I mean, look, most art is topical or political, whatever, but there's a difference between topical or political and being just pure propaganda. So that it's up to the artist to make that distinction, and if that distinction succeeds with the market. Oz Great says we need to overwork the Japanese anime artist, bring back hand drawn anime like the '80s and '90s. I love '80s anime. I'm a big fan of '80s anime. I love the art style. I love the animation. It's just to me, it's just Kino. I use that word a lot today, but it's absolute Kino. The '80s, early '90s animation. I'm about to make a claim though. I'm about to make a claim, and some of you may torch me for this, but I will go to the grave on this one. I thought that after Ghost in the Shell, I did see a decline in '90s anime. You know, some exceptions here or there, but overall, I did see a decline, and I thought Ghost in the Shell was overrated, in my opinion. When I saw it in the theater, I was impressed with the animation. I was impressed with the theme of the movie, but the story, the way it ended, and all that stuff, I was like, yeah, yeah, mm, I just wasn't impressed with it. So yeah. Colin says, I don't add much political commentary in my comics. Religious and moral themes, maybe. That's, I mean, look, Tolkien did that with Lord of the Rings. He had a lot of moral and religious themes in his story. So, although, and he was a Christian, but I don't know if it, if he intended it to have like an outright Christian um, fabric to it. But you could tell that he had definitely there was a moral compass that was attached to the writing of his Lord of the Rings story. Because the story's about good and evil. It's a story about pure good versus pure evil. So how could you not have a moral compass with that? So Einbrecht says the '90s produced some fun schlock, but very little of merit. They were rare gems, but that's what they were. Diamonds in the rough. Yes, that's I think that's pretty much my view of '90s comics. There wasn't a lot that was happening. And my World War Drake books are inspired more by the underground comics movement, the alternative movement in terms of the art style and uh, just how crazy it can look. But the point is, it's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to read this book. You're supposed to have fun with it. You know, nothing more, nothing less. Just have fun reading a Road Warrior Drake book. So, I think art should articulate some kind of fundamental truth. Let me read that again because my words are hard tonight. Bancroft says, I think art should articulate some kind of fundamental truth in a beautiful way. Difficult to do that if it's topical and political. Yeah, I think if so if it's politically specific, it can date it and it could lose beauty. Although there are some exceptions. One exception that I'm thinking about is Animal Farm, which is an allegory on the Bolshevik movement becoming communist in Russia. Like you can't read that story and separate the allegory. So that's the case where it's a story that is artistic. I think it's a beautiful story, tragic, beautiful, but it is political because it's referencing a specific event or a timeline of events. But that's just me though. So, but otherwise, mostly you do want to. Not many people are nuanced enough to tackle that though. So that's the thing. Like, if you don't think it's nuanced enough, don't do it. Don't mix politics with art. So, um, art is inherently expressive of the eternal human soul, which should be seen as beautiful. Art for art's sake, says Monkey King. Rainbow the Brute already dated says Monkey King. Yeah, that's definitely true. All the woke era quote unquote creative content will never be thought of, says Geek in his room. Um, for the most part, yes, but there's some exceptions for the wrong reasons. Like for example, The Last Jedi, which is a pure woke garbage, will always be remembered for the wrong reasons, for the wrong things. But I know for a fact because they talked about this. Some streams have talked about this. There are film classes that teach writing, and they use The Last Jedi as a way of how not to write a movie. So it depends on how much of a legacy a specific work has. If it's negative legacy, so, so. Colin says, I don't think, unfortunately, all art in the underground was always beautiful. It depends. Like I'm not a fan of all of it. See, the thing is, when I showcase some art, the artwork that I show, I'm not always a fan of what I show. I'm only showing it because indie comics currently is polluted with the mindset that it has to look like it's beautiful art, and I'm here to show historically that's not correct. Historically, the artwork serves as a story, and the artwork could be as crude as possible and still be successful. That's the history of underground independent comics, and that's a truth that's been lost in this current indie scene. So, part of what I'm doing is to bring awareness to that, so you don't get stuck in this mindset that if it doesn't look like it's drawn by Tom McFarlane, then it's crap, and that's a bullshit mentality to have. So. Mass Panda says, I actually really like Ghost in the Shell. The first couple movies and standalone context. The last 15 years of Ghost in the Shell content have been pretty trash. I'm looking forward to the new one coming. I didn't know they were making more Ghost in the Shell stuff. So I thought it was just that one movie, but you're saying there's a whole other stuff with it. Hmm. Lousy One asks, does this explain Alasta's in admiration of Hitler's art? I've never even seen Hitler's art. I think I saw one or two of it. I don't remember it. So, I couldn't tell you. Uh, anyway, Hitler may or may not be Obama's grandfather. I don't know. That's what's going out there, but I don't know. Like, for obvious reasons, we can't do that on the stream and YouTube because algorithm and all that stuff. Um, Massive Panda says, I meant complex. Complex in terms of what? Oh, okay. The first couple movies and standalone complex. That's what you meant. Okay, here we go. Monkey King says, Ghost in the Shell is better than 90% of the crap today. I'll take your word for it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just haven't seen it, but I'll take your word for it. You know. So yeah. Osgrave says Reinhard von versus Wang Wang. Okay, there. I don't know what I just read, and I botched it, so I'm gonna read it. It's words. That's not English. So there you go. Reinhard von Lohengram versus Yang Wen. Yang Wen Lei. Reinhard von Lohengram versus Yang Wen Lei. Did I say it right? If not, I don't care. I'm gonna say it wrong. Just to spite you, Osgrave Sage. All the spite, all the time. Wanting beautiful art is not equivalent to the ugly personality grifters in the scene. They are against romanticism. Um, Thankfully, to address that point, Colin, from what people have said to me, that ugly griftiness is a tiny percentage of the overall indie comic scene. But the thing is, the greater part of the indie comic scene is oversaturated with the same shit too. Hence why you probably will never see another movement in the indie scene because it's massive and it's saturated. Yeah. Monkey King says, watch this straight after the live stream. Ghost in the Shell original title. But I've seen that. I've seen Ghost in the Shell, the anime from 1995. I went to the theater and saw it. So, and I said I appreciate the animation. I thought the story was interesting. I personally felt it was overrated. I'm gonna say I thought that Ghost in the Shell was kind of overrated. I'm not saying that if you like it, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. This is just my personal opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. So please don't try and bother me. I just thought the movie was overrated. But if you like it, and I know people have given it legacy and it's influential, that's fine. I can't argue that. I'm just telling you my personal opinion of Ghost in the Shell. That's just it. Um, but I guess you're talking about this. Is that the series though? Because I'm seeing Monkey. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, if that's the anime, I've already seen the movie. So my issue, says Colin, is I prefer good, pretty art too. I don't want to be grouped with the old guard grifters. Um, the best way to be grouped with them is just doing what you're doing. Like nobody can say that I'm that way because I'm not in that group. I'm not grifting. I'm not producing the same old slop. I'm producing what I'm producing. People like it when they read it. People like it. People like my Road War Drake books. They like what it's about. I think we get a bigger copy. Let me get the not that last. That's the print copy from like last. Here we go. Look at the hardcover because it's got the bigger versions of it. So people look at the artwork in Beast and Road Warrior Drake, right? And it stands out because it's its own style. Whether they like it or not is beside the point. It's its own style, and it triggers a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. It triggers the people that I want to trigger because that means they're not really comic book fans. They're part of the griftiverse, if you want to call it that. They're part of the um, clout chasing with comics. They want to chase that clout. So, uh, Master Panda says, not to ramble about Ghost in the Shell, all right, but I love Major Motor's voice actress from the animated series way better than the voice actress from the movie. Okay, I'm done now. Well, there we go. Hot take. Hot take. Um, okay, so we got 17 people. We were up to 22, down to 17, but 17 is still a pretty good number. That means that we got an interesting crowd of people having a conversation about this. And not many people want that conversation because A, they don't think it's necessary, which is nonsense, and B, they don't know it even it needed to be had. We got Billy Parmax in the chat. He says, Alana, you're a kind of a real person and deserves to be treated as such 100%. Shout out to you, Billy Parmax. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. See, he didn't bring the spirit today. Most of you in the chat brought you spirit, but he did not. He brought kindness, loving, and the spirit of Unita. Unita! We are united again now. Thank you. So now we're back to Unita. This is great. So that's awesome. I feel inspired to Unitod. I am Unitod right now. So, yeah. So far, that's 20 watching. Okay, cool. I'll stick with the 20. That's a decent number for these indie comic outlier streams. Um, I when I started this back in 2024, I did it as a response to like the all the drama shit that was happening, and I took a chance because these kind of streams don't get a large number. We started out with like maybe like 10 at the time or 15, and then it consistently went down to like 10. So like we'll get like 10 or 11 viewers at a time. But now we're going up to 20 now. We're consistently getting 20. Sometimes I'll get 30 for this stream. And it's like, that's a good number for this kind of stream because in this space, unless you're doing some kind of like recap of beef or whatever, just talking comics will get a very low view count, low views. But because I'm being specific on the kind of stuff I'm talking, people tend to be interested because I push back on the nonsense dribble of it has to look like quote unquote beautiful art, otherwise it's not worthy of being a comic. And I'm like, independent comics doesn't give a shit about your perception of what you consider beautiful art. It's is the book itself fun to read and does it have legacy? And that's something that is determined by time and the market. They determine that. And people who want that quick buck now or that quick legacy now, they drop out when they don't get that quick return, and they probably end up losing out on that legacy. So we'll see. Um, Bancroft says that's not how we do things around here. The insults unite us. No, you're one of the good ones, Bancroft. Don't be like Kissivist. Don't be like KSS. He's one of the worst ones. He's a murderer. Don't be like him. He brings spears and he just goes to town. Don't be like him. You bring scrolls. He brings spears. Don't be a KSS. Don't be a kissy. Don't please. We are back to Unita. Don't divide. Don't be the one to divide us. Don't disappoint me and break my heart. Just don't do that. Mazapanda says, "My bad. That's what I meant. I really can't type for shit. It's okay. I can't speak for shit. So I'm messing up with some words. And I didn't have any. Well, no, that's not true. I had coffee earlier today. I had 1 cup of coffee. 1 cup of coffee for me is low. I could do 2, 3 to 4 cups a day, but today I only had one. I went to my local deli and bought me an egg sandwich, and I bought coffee. And I just realized I only had one cup of coffee today. Maybe that's why I'm a bit more disciplined than normal. Oh, we have Twitters in the chat. Twitter says you must be this tall to push back. I don't think you meet the requirement. You know how tall Twitter is as tall as his bookshelf. So I was about to push back on Twitter right now, but I just remembered. I remembered that this guy's tall. He's a Nephilim. Twitter is a Nephilim. So if I say something bad to him now in chat and I meet with him at HeroesCon, I'm gonna be turned into a pretzel and you'll never see me again. So I can't say that to Twitter now because he'll remember it and I'll be so I can't push back on him. That is what it is. Timothy says, I am called the Uniter. Yeah, you're the Uniter when you're in the ban zone. Them unite against you. With you, Colors, and Gifford in the ban zone. So oh that's right. I hadn't forgotten about your Omega Girl comics. I had to get back to reading it because you did send me that. So I gotta continue reading that, and I still gotta read Von Coleman's um his book too. His where is it? Let me pull it out here. There, okay. Here's the Omega Girl comics that you got me, Twitless. I still have to read those and give you a review on each one. Um, where's Von Coleman's book? It's here somewhere. I have it here. I have it here. It's here. I think I put it behind me in this stash over here. So I got to read Von Coleman's book and review that too. Here it is. Phenomenova. Actually, I read this issue. This is he signed my copy of this one, but he sent me more issues. So I got to read those. Where the heck is it? I got to read those and review those. So I haven't forgotten, folks. I've not forgotten. And there's also Puppet by J.D. Kirby. I got to review that too as well. So like, if you're gonna send me a comic, the least I can do is read it and review it. So I haven't forgotten. So trust and believe. I have not forgotten. Okay, it's time has been a thing the last few months, but time is what you make of it. So I gotta discipline myself and make time to do stuff other than just working. So I have that in mind. Um, let's see. Colin says Banzo. Wow, ripping off EVS. Oh, he ripped me off. He ripped me off, Colin. You saw that. He ripped me off. I will sue him. You watch, and I will win because I'm a poor, and they're gonna reward the poor, and I'll be able to pay off my mortgage, and I'll be a thing, and you people will remember me, and you're gonna be sorry. You guys were all mean to me. Every single last one of you in the chat. Every last one of you. Timothy says, "You shut up. And let me throw my spears of unity." You're such a hurtful man, Tommy. I'm just having a positive conversation with the chat. You didn't have to say that to me. You didn't have to say that to me. I've been nothing but kind to you. Such a jerk. What a massive jerk you are, Tommy. Really, you are a massive jerk. You know what? I, I hope you enjoy your permanent place in the band zone. I really do. I don't know what to say about that, guys. I really don't know what to say about that. That was out of left field for even Tommy. That was out of left field. Like I don't know what to say about that. But I think the super chat that Blasey one just put here will help lift my spirits up. Thank you for the super chat. Let me read that for you, Blasey one. He says, "Do you think there could ever be an underground comics movement again, like we've been talking about? What would they even be rebelling against?" Excellent question. That's a good question. I don't know. That like in the 60s and the 80s, there's nothing to rebel against because the internet has made it possible for us to do rebelling in various ways. So there's no real concentrated space of rebellion, you know, because we're always rebelling against something. Whatever political point of view you have, there's always a rebellion against something that's there. So that's something really unique there. From an artistic standpoint, um, things are not the same. You know, back in 2017, 2018, when Star Trek Discovery was polluting the airways, when The Last Jedi was polluting theaters, like that was a different time back then, because there was a concentrated effort by filmmakers and TV producers to put up this woke slop, this anti-masculine slop, and what have you, and it was like, yeah, that there was a contingency of people that just naturally got together and said, we don't want this shit, and we're pushing back on it. Now it's just you know, there's a variety of stuff. A lot of the woke stuff is getting written off. Like people are just tired of it, and the outrage isn't what it used to be because people just stopped caring. They just moved on. They stopped caring. So there's no outrage there. So what is it left for the people that are putting the shit out there? Nothing. They're losing money. They're losing ratings. Like with the Star Trek Fleet Academy, they already canceled the second season because as big as the outrage was for it, it wasn't big enough because nobody cares. I didn't care about it because it's not even canon. The thing that doesn't get talked about with the Star Trek stuff is it's not in canon with the classic Trek, and that is by design. That is a legal requirement between Paramount and CBS that for Paramount to be making any Star Trek content, they legally have to make it 25% different, meaning that it's not in canon with the actual Trek timeline that started with the original series and ended with Enterprise. See that is its own canon. Anything that's produced by Paramount from like 2017 on is not in canon with that. So getting outraged over it is wasted energy because it's not canon. It's like it's just studio fan fiction, woke studio fan fiction. So it's like don't even pay attention to it because it doesn't affect the real canon. Bancroft says we're living the underground comic movement. 99.9999% of people don't even know there is an indie comic scene. Is it that they don't know or is it they don't care? And I'm not saying that to be dismissive. It's a legit question. Is it that they don't know or is it that they don't care? Because more and more people are saying that comics are a niche thing. And I see when I look at observable reality, I see that to be the case. I'm not saying that it can't that indie comics can't be significant or influential again. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you what I'm observing in terms of my reality from the internet, from like going to like gas stations with their display of comics. It's comics are a niche thing, and if comic sales, if the major publishers like DC or Marvel, if their sales are low, is it because people don't like what's coming out of those publishing companies, or just because they don't like comics? Period. But then manga is successful. Manga is killing it. So it can't be the comics. That it can't be that the medium is not resonating because manga is successful. So it's probably just the cape shit that people are tired of, or just they know that Marvel and DC are producing the woke shit and they don't even care about it. So I was like, you know what? I'm not wasting my time on it. I'm just not interested. I'm not inspired to get it. Kirk fascists. I think there could be a movement against crowdfunded Ponzi schemes. No books, no refunds. Yeah. Um, the bare minimum, I suppose. So, uh, cons, I just don't pay mind to CG and do my own thing. I mean, that's the way. Yeah, just don't pay. Honestly, like if you don't have to pay attention to that scene. Like you don't have to care what CG is doing, what those grifters are doing. You don't have to care about that if you're just producing a comic. Just formulate your readership, formulate your crowd, and then you network with like-minded comic creators themselves who have that same vision. And when I say network, I don't mean like you got to walk lockstep with them and have some kind of like little gay uh, manifesto or whatever. No, it's just you do your thing, you network with people that are like minded, and you respect each other's hustle, but you also do your own thing, and you don't tell each other how to do your book. I think that's healthy, and I think that's the way to go. So a lot of the ones I used to care enough to get involved over entertainment stuff. Now I'm just burned out. I don't care anymore. I think a lot of people feel the same way. I think there's just a burnout, and they just stop caring. Like a lot of people have canceled their Netflix subscriptions. With Disney acquiring Hulu, a lot of people just noped out of that. And then the stuff they're pushing out in the mainstream, like the new Star Trek stuff, the movies are not inspiring. Like the Mandalorian trailer just totally underwhelmed people, and I think it's because of Star Wars fatigue. People are just not feeling Star Wars anymore. Disney killed Star Wars, so there's that too. And even like there was a little bit of hype for the Avengers Doomsday, right? There was some hype for it especially when they announced that um Steve Rogers was coming back, right? But then they just announced recently that he's not going to wear the traditional Captain America suit. He's not going to be Captain America. So it's like, oh, okay, so we're doing that shit. It's like, so now it's like, oh, whatever. Like stick to your new canon, whatever. So Man, as a fan, I appreciate the fact that there are guys out there like you, Bancroft, John Longbox, who actually care about this stuff and discuss actual comics content, creativity, etc. Yeah, I think there's an audience for that for sure. Like, there's people that just want to be in a space, have that conversation, a serious conversation, I should say, because simply just me talking for an hour about a specific comic and going over, the line art and the story, and I was like, it's boring. Like, no one cares about my opinion on that. But having these hot takes that really go into the heart of the matter, people want that conversation because it really does leave you like with an idea of how do you move forward from this and how can we advance this art form. So so that is a thing, and more that has to happen. Um, but yeah, shout out to Bancroft and John's Longbox. They are doing their thing, and that's good. And what's funny is that I don't know if you guys follow me on X, but if you saw what's been going on with the last day and a half, like you witnessed some of the stuff that's happened, and I'm like, should I stream about that? And I'm like, nah, nah. What happens on X should stay on X. And when I come and do like a indie comic out live stream, it's specifically on this because that's my audience. That's the people I'm cultivating, and that's the people that want to hear about these comic artists, the legacy they leave, the imprint on indie comics, because that conversation is what really should help inspire you as an independent creator yourself on how to proceed and to learn the lessons of how movements of yesteryear, how those artists succeeded, what they did to succeed, and why artists today are not succeeding and what they're not doing. In short, I can tell you this: too much time on the internet, being attached to the internet, isn't going to help your comic grow. You still need the actual physical interaction with people and networking with people. So there's that at least, yeah. Bancroft appreciates the appreciation. So there you go. So it has been appreciated, and we witnessed it in the chat. Kirk Fash says crowdfunding requires a crowd. You refuse to fulfill or refund. How does that fare for every other crowdfunder? It does leave a bad stain for sure, and I think you should be able to. If you're a comic book producer, you should be able to get your book out or refund the customer. No ifs, ands, or buts. Unless the book is made, then you can't refund it. But yeah, at the very least, you should at least instill good faith in your clients. Tim Olsen says, "My point is, there's a lot of bookstores that will gladly let you set up and promote your books." Oh yeah, absolutely, and I'm looking forward to that. When I do at some point I'm going to talk to my local bookstore here about that and see what I can do and set up a booth and just have that where they have that whole like, oh, meet the artist, meet the writer, and then shake hands with people and just be a face in the community because that's how you grow as an artist is your local community, and then from there it expands to a greater community out there. A lot of the ones, I guess I still care enough to stupid chat a lot about cheeseburger bucks, but mostly I stick around to watch the downfall of grifters who burn me. Oh yeah, listen, I'm documenting the downfall of it. I'm documenting it. So if some of you are watching it and enjoying it, I'm documenting it. And let me tell you right now, I enjoy putting it together and documenting that stuff, but at the same time, I'm also sad about it. And I don't mean sad as in boohoo sad. I mean sad as in like, damn, that sucks. I was a part of something that I was trying to help build. I was seeing it build. I was seeing the slew of artists and writers that were putting out consistent stuff and building a fan base and keeping this thing healthy and helping the movement grow. And then one by one, they get pushed out over politics, and by politics, I mean like backstage, like politicizing of positions in certain books, for example, or being in certain streams, for example. But so many great creators have been pushed out, and that killed this thing. And now it's at a point now where it's like we're now memeing dead family members. We're wishing death on people. We're instigating uh, con ambushes, convention ambushes, live event ambushes. Like this is what kills the movement. This is what gets people to walk away from it. And I'm sad it's gotten to that point, but I'm having fun documenting it because the story needs to be told. If not, it gets lost in time, and then the grifters just end up winning, and there's no accountability. So Bancroft says, I muted everyone who wouldn't quit going on and on about Eric July a couple years ago. Now I hardly see any drama on X at all. Yeah, I mean, look, Muting and blocking. I don't befault anybody that does either of those two. If your whole point is to have a nice, healthy timeline that you cultivate, just do it. That's 100%. Lousy was says missed opportunity corrupted. That's pretty much the best way to put it. Yeah. Um, Tim also says $10. It ends like that movie, The Social Network. I yet to see that movie. I yet to see The Social Network. That's with who's the guy that played Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman? Um, Jesse Eisenberg. Is that his name? Eisenberg. Yeah, he's in that movie, Social Network. So 17 watching it. But you guys in the chat are going up. I mean, I could end the stream now, but you're still like active, so we could continue on. We could have this conversation. You know. Um, but until I see the chat stop moving, I guess I'll just keep streaming for a bit. And then after the chat ends or the stream ends, I will get myself a cup of tea and try to enjoy the rest of the evening away from the computer and just maybe read a book or something. Maybe watch a movie. I don't know. But I gotta bring balance to my life. So I absolutely mute and block. Life is too short to pay attention to fools. Yeah, I mean, I have my share of dust ups, but at some point I do the muting or blocking and then just move on and just say, you know what? Is Twitter going to be a place for shit talk or is it a place for promotion? And that's the way to look at it. And you're not obligated to like talk to people that don't like your stuff and don't have to offer you a word of constructive intent. If they're doing anything but that, yeah, mute them, put them in the void. Crime deals with those people. Crime and Schadenfreude deals with those people. It's not your job to put them in that place. If you got goals, if you got purpose, your mission is to fulfill that purpose. So don't feel obligated to respond to any of the fools out there, any of the ill intent goblins, as we'll call them. Colin says Alasma has an after stream surprise for him. That sounds scary. That sounds very scary. Why does that sound like a threat, Colin? Are you threatening me? Are you seriously threatening me right now? We were doing so good having a conversation. So wonderful. I'm just making sure that there's nobody in that window. And I'm making sure that there's no drones out there. Because what you said, Colin, was very cryptic. So now I got to make sure that I'm not being spied by some Chinese drones out there. Anyway, before I go, let me just say this. I finally got to read The Last Ronin. Hold on, where is it? So in keeping a promise to myself, to try to read as many books before the end of the year, I finally did get to read The Last Ronin. And just to give him a quick review of it, I liked it. First of all, I love the hardcover. Beautiful presentation. The artwork is beautiful in many pages. I love the artwork. Not a fan of the coloring though. The coloring is a little too muted. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's a little muted. I mean, you can see it online, but coloring in some spots is very muted. So I'm not a huge fan of the coloring, but that's a minor gripe. But I like the artwork, and I appreciate the story and everything. I had my issue with some details of the story. I don't think it's a great story. Um, it's good, but I don't know if it's I would call it great. I think some people may have overhyped it too much, in my opinion. But I enjoyed reading it. I really did, and I'm glad I read it because it is considered a milestone in Ninja Turtles um, lore. Even though it's not canon, it's not. It's a non-canonical book, but for what it's worth, I did enjoy it. I just didn't think it was this great book that people made it out to be. But I liked it. I definitely recommend it. And you should have it in your library. Yeah. Blasey once says the circus of bitter destruction on the internet reminds me of when I worked on locked psych wards. I'm seeing a lot of mental illness, but I can't even give these guys a sedative. It's not hyperbole. I can't believe I said that. It's not hyperbole to say that they have mental illness. I mean, it's a legit observation. So yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Especially after my interaction on X this week, I'm 100% uh, confirmed that I'm dealing with a lot of mental illness out there on X in this space. Timo says, "Do you think it would be perfect to add to the original volume of TNMT?" Um, I don't know if I would like for it to be an official end of that canon of Turtles. I appreciate it as an off world story, but I don't know if I would want that to be the end. It's kind of sucks. It would kind of suck, you know. Like, but anyway, that's just my opinion. Okay, so we're down to 15. So that's a sign. That's a cue to end the stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and wind it down. But I want to thank everybody for hopping on, not hopping on, for being in the chat. You guys in the chat were kind of active. I like the activity in the chat. See, 15 to 20 live viewers, but the chat was like blown up. So that is what I want. I want more activity in the chat and less 50 people watching and like 2 or 3 people commenting in the chat. That to me is dead. So shout out to you people in the chat who have put down your spears for tonight. I saw very little spear chucking, so that's good. I appreciate that. And I will see you guys not this weekend because this weekend I'm going to be going away somewhere. I have an event I'm going to, so it won't be this weekend. But I may or may not sneak a draw stream this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not. I'm not promising anything. But if I don't do that, I will see you guys Monday for the Monday Monster Moratorium. And you guys have a great night. And I will leave you with everyone's favorite outro because you know it's a great outro. So here we go.